So with 740 million plus members, there's now 30 million plus companies and 90,000 plus schools. And with that, obviously, we get a lot of data and insights from all this. So, when I was preparing for this workshop, I thought to myself, what would be cool for me as a student back in high school if I could see, what's on the other side, what are people thinking and what are companies thinking, right? So I pulled a couple of stats that I hope will be useful for you guys of things that I would have found helpful when I was a high school student. So one thing I've always wondered is, where did people that graduated previously go? What are they learning, right? What are they doing, right? So these are some of the stats on island school graduates, and specifically for Hong Kong, US, and UK. And on the left-hand side, you can see some of the top schools they've been going to, like HKU, HKUST. You also have a big population of people going to UCL, LSE, and King's College. On the right side, you can also see some of the top skills they've been developing over the years. Things like data analytics, right, economics, finance, digital marketing, social media marketing. So it's actually kind of happy to see that your graduates are actually very in line with today's world, and they're actually upscaling themselves to be in line with the modern world and the modern workforce. Another thing I thought was really cool that I never had access to before was, what are companies thinking? For some of the top companies in the world, how are they hiring? And where are they hiring from? And what are the people they look for? So this is one of the top financial institutions in the world. And you can see kind of traditionally, they hire for skill sets that are, what you would imagine, finance, investment banking, financial analysis. But on the right side, you can also see that very rapidly, they're actually hiring for other, type of backgrounds. They're hiring for people that know machine learning, computer science, Python, right? And you can see that in the fields of studies they're hiring for as well. It's no longer just finance. They're also hiring people from computer science, business administration, and mathematics, right? If we look at technology sector, right, this is also another top company in the technology field based out of San Fran. Traditionally, you think software development, right? Obviously Java, Python. But fastest growing skills is no longer those, right? They're hiring a lot of people that knows about AWS. They know a lot about enterprise software. They know a lot about business intelligence. Same thing for fields of studies. They're not just looking for people from computer science. They also want to look for people from marketing and electrical and electronics. So hopefully this gives you some insights that companies are constantly changing in today's world. And as long as you do your research on the platform and you really speak with people and understand how it's moving, it doesn't really matter. A lot of times it doesn't really matter what your background is and what degree is. It's really about changing your perception on what the company's hiring for, because you never really know nowadays and what the skills that they're looking for. So moving on to now, how is LinkedIn then different from other social networks? I'm sure most of you have, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram of that sort. It's really usually for entertainment purposes, right? It's there to kill time, you socialize with your friends, you share pictures on what you did on the weekends. Versus LinkedIn, you're really investing your time, right? You're very deliberate in building a brand and maintain a professional identity, right? You really deliberate in building your network of people that you want to surround yourself with and be in your connections, right? You want to learn more about the industries you're interested in working in, and keep up to date on current affairs and up to date on the brands and companies that you want to know about. So that's kind of the biggest difference I would say between LinkedIn and the rest of the other social media platforms. And because of that, LinkedIn recently, in a few years in a row now, has been voted the most trusted platform now for social media. So with that comes credibility, right? So with that, it's also about how you build your brand on it and how do you show authenticity. So this is actually something interesting I came across very recently as well. And it's also a common worry for a lot of people just starting out on LinkedIn, is they're always like, oh, I don't know that many people. I'm a student. I can maybe get only like 20 or 30 connections. No one's going to care about what I say. It's not going to matter. It actually does. As you see here, even if only your first degree connections, which is the people that you're directly connected with, let's say you have roughly 170 people there, you're actually reaching out to 26,000 people of friends, right? And if we go one level further, which is, friends of friends of friends, if that's not too confusing, yeah, friends of friends of friends, you're going up to roughly 2 million people that will potentially see your thoughts or post your shit. So it's really not about how many people are in your connection, but it's about how many people they also have and the reach that you'll get to. So again, do not worry that at the beginning you only have maybe 10 or 20 or 30 connections. There will be a lot more connections in the future, and it's a very big reach as well on the platform. So officially starting your LinkedIn journey and some of the best practices there. So there are really 4 levels we will say here of branding and presenting yourself. So the first one is, how do you want to represent your brand and who you are on the platform, right? What kind of things do you want to put on there? The second one is, how do you want to connect with people, the types of people you want to connect with. The third one is how you engage with them once you found people that you want to connect with. What are some of the creative ways to engage with them? And the last one is something I think you guys are more familiar than I am, is sharing content, right? Commenting on someone's post that you like, liking them, sharing them. So we'll go through them as one by one right now as well. So let's just get started, right? On your profile, as you're doing it, always add a picture, right? People, when they talk to someone or when they see a profile, they want to see the person behind that profile. Makes it a lot more approachable, and makes it just makes the whole profile much more friendly, and people want to actually interact with you. The next one would be adding your industry. I understand most of you, will not have a job yet or won't be able to put this in. So this is for future reference, but please do put an industry in the future once you have, more internship experience or work experience, because it's that much easier for people to find you on the platform. Draft a compelling summary. So this is an elevator pitch of what you've accomplished and done in your professional or in your student academic career so far. So, and I will also recommend people don't see this as a resume. LinkedIn profile is a little bit different than resume. So you don't have to be too uptight or anything about it. Have a little bit fun with it. Show a little bit of flavor of yourself. I think a lot of people actually appreciate that when they see a profile, because once again, it makes them feel like they actually know you a little bit more, know the person behind the profile a little bit more as well. Detailing your work experience. Again, for those of you that don't have it yet, do not worry. This is only for future reference. But once you put in the detailed work experience, it is that much more easier and likely to connect with people. And as well as sharing examples of your work, things that you've been involved with, things that you've published. So this is probably a little more in line with what a lot of you guys can have and put right currently, is adding your volunteer experience. Right, this is a good way to beef up your profile a little bit. And then we'll get into a little bit later as well. But it's an easier way to actually connect with certain individuals as well. Having a volunteer experience, because that's a very big topic, especially in Hong Kong as well. So feel free to put more details in this column on your LinkedIn profile for now. Adding skills and getting endorsed is a big one. Feel free to put any skills that you think you are adept at. And have people endorse it, as well as request a recommendation. Again, this is another chance and another way for people to really know who you are and understand what kind of person you are as well. And of course, put things such as your location, where you're located. A big one is education. So remember that where you guys went to school. So this is a really good way to connect with previous alumni as well. So because they are obviously that much more likely to connect with you and help you out. Put some publications if you guys have anything, as well as accomplishments. And once again, don't think that any accomplishments or publications are too small to put on LinkedIn. What might be small or not interesting to you guys might be really cool and interesting to someone else as well. So don't be shy about that. So your voice on LinkedIn. Right, there are 2 ways to establish your voice ultimately. One is publishing your own content and writing articles about it, and one is, as mentioned before, just sharing updates, liking things and that you'll be interested in, or your followers might be interested in. So for publishing content, I would say definitely, share your thoughts and values in a way that you're passionate about, things that connect with you, and keep them, as you see on the right side, kind of shorter, keep them inspirational, to the point. And for those of you that's not camera shy, I would definitely recommend using a video and doing a video on there, like 1 or 2 minutes, just publish one. They are really fun. And what I mentioned about passion before is people on the platform can feel it, right? When you're talking about a subject that you're passionate about, that you want to be good at, people can feel it and people will reciprocate, right? And they will follow your thoughts and they will connect with you and want to deep dive more about that topic with you. So I definitely recommend that. Another thing is, be very purposeful when you're sharing content and, on the platform. You want to share things that you want to eventually move into in your professional career, right? Let's say you want to go into the financial industry. So I would, purposefully, share contents and publish articles from that industry, or technology, right? Or manufacturing or retail, whatever it is good to do that. You can also tag organizations, and specific people into your post to have them contribute to your ideas as well. You can make a post when you're graduating about ESF and tag ESF in it. Hopefully, someone will respond to you on that as well. These are fun little things that you can do on the platform now. So as an FYI, some of the most popular topics currently on LinkedIn are things like technology, management, careers and employment, business management, and finance and economy. So some of the best practices for publishing content, right? So create a headline that will capture attention to your audience or anyone you think might be reading your article. Include a photo that stands out. Again, I do recommend video, but if it's photo is good too, that's fine. But just include one because it makes your post look that much more enticing to read. Be authentic. Once again, use your voice. There's no need to edit multiple times in a day before you publish a post. There's no need to use any big words on purpose. Just be yourself, and you will attract other like-minded people to your post and connect with you. Think about your audience. Think about the type of people you want to reach, the type of people that you want to grow, and be very, very deliberate on it. We've always said that we're not really here to get a huge amount of connections and friends and followers. It's about the quality of the people that you connect with and whether they will be helpful and whether you can help each other on your professional career. And article length really does matter. I can also feel it myself. My attention span is now getting shorter and shorter. So we also always recommend don't write anything too long, because I think most people probably will not have the patience anymore to read anything too long. So think about yourself and think about your behavior and write according to when you yourself would lose patience, I would say. So next is some net worth growth strategies. We've talked about how to publish contents, but how do you reach out to people and how do you build your network, especially at the beginning? Right. Something that a lot of people have found helpful is to actually follow specific companies that you want to work for one day, or that you admire and want to build your own similar, that type of company. And you can find connections within those companies to talk to. And this is when it's very important what you have put in your own profile. Because as mentioned before, if you're reaching out to people that are ex-alumni, right, or people that have very similar background as you, maybe they're from Hong Kong as well, maybe they're from another country, maybe they're from a volunteer organization that they've done, they'll be much more likely to actually respond to you. So this is one way that we recommend. Another one is also search at scales. LinkedIn actually gives you the opportunity to search different industries and different companies at scales. And I recommend that is because, obviously most of you would know the most famous and popular companies in the world, right? But there are actually many other companies that are doing very cool stuff. As mentioned before, we have roughly 30 million plus companies now on LinkedIn. And there are some companies that you've never heard of doing something that you might be very passionate about. Or there might be a company just like, that will become your dream place to work at that you've never heard of before. So really use the platform and do your research about where you want to go in the future, and then follow their page and find people to talk to from those companies. Some of the best practices for connection requests, I would say, is first add a personal note. So what that really means is that you should really, as mentioned before, connect with them on a personal level, right? Read their profile, see what drives them, see what they're passionate about, and write that in their profile. If they're at a volunteer organization, talk about that. If they came from Hong Kong as well, talk about that as well. So add a little bit of personal note. Get introduced by a shared connection. As you grow your network, you realize that a lot of people, know each other on the platform, and you can get a warm introduction that way, and it's easy to get introduced. Once again, be authentic, right? Don't draft up a very rigid response if you're not that type of person. Just be yourself, and they will come back. They will come to you. Think about the person you're drafting the message to. Drafting a message to me, for example, will be very different when you draft a message to like, a senior director or a senior vice president at a financial institution. So keep that in mind and use the language that you think they'll respond to the most. And finally, is don't be afraid to ask for what you want, right? A lot of these people that I've spoken with, very senior leaders in their field, they appreciate a little bit forwardness and honesty. Tell them what you're looking for. They will let you know whether they can, they can help you out with that or not. Don't be shy. If you're looking for a chat, looking for a coffee chat, be straightforward with that. I've heard of some amazing stories of people reaching out to, CEOs or senior vice presidents at Fortune 500 companies, and they got a response saying that, they're happy to grab a coffee in a pre-COVID world, happy to grab a coffee, or in a COVID world, get a very quick Zoom call. To pass on their experience, talk about how they got to the industry, how they got to the world they are today. Don't be afraid of that. And I actually want to expand that a little bit more is don't be afraid to just send connections out, right? Don't do the rejection for the other person already and be afraid of that. Just connect with anyone you want to. Be respectful about it, draft a nice message about it, and just connect. Most people are on LinkedIn to grow their network and, get to know more people. So I would always say, just go for it, be authentic, and just connect with anyone you want.